Test failing. Not a lot of fun. No, I'm joking. It's great. I'm just cleaning up the final test for the feature that I just rewrote using Claude code, and it was actually I was using Antigravity. It was amazing. I thought on the note, I would just talk a little bit while Antigravity fixes these tests, and then I'll review them after. Don't worry. But I thought I would just talk a little bit about the different experiences with Antigravity and Claude Code since, look at that. I can't even make a video, a little short clip before this already fixed. You can't even see it, but let me increase the size. This already has all the tests passing. Great job. There you go. There's a failure. More work to do. Sorry. To get back to the point, the editor of choice that I've been using a lot is Antigravity. And the reason for that is I care a lot about the code that I'm writing right now because it's all very like critical. Like if I get this design wrong, if I get these this part wrong, everything else is just going to crumble later. It's not like at the edge of the code base or an isolated feature that won't really affect anything else. Things are going to be built on top of it, around it. It's just core code. It's part of the main engine that's going to be running this entire app. And so because of that, I'm opting to use an editor that I have a lot more visibility into the actual code base and into the actual design process. What I mean by that is, one, when you're using Claude Code, you don't see you can have an editor open another window, obviously, which I've done before, but you don't see the diffs throughout the code. You see them all within one console. And so you might look at each specific diff within the console, and it might be fine, but you don't have the surrounding context that might make you second guess and question, maybe this isn't the right decision. Along with that, in the actual chats themselves, you have a lot of, especially in the agent mode, you have a lot of screen real estate to go through design documents and like diagrams so that you can flesh out features before you even start working on them, which I think is really critical. And especially because whether you think LLMs are good enough to do the job by themselves or they're still a junior dev, regardless, let's say it is good enough to do the job by itself, we're still hitting context limits as far as with really large code bases or larger code bases, and it can't see everything at once. And one thing that I think Jan LeCun definitely has right, the AI researcher that's working on diffusion models, is we're really good at thinking, humans that is, really good at thinking at different levels of abstraction. And there's certain things in a code base that we just solidify and they're like core within our head and how we think about the overall architecture. And I might completely forget about what this test does or the fact that this test even exists. But there's somewhere in my head I know where I've compartmentalized it, right? When I look at this file, problem generation session test, well, that's easy for me to tell this is associated with the problem generation feature. And then there's some core competency I have baked in there. And if an LLM doesn't see that file or misses one specific part of it, it might miss critical context as to how things should be designed. All that to say, that's why I'm actually opting for Antigravity right now. There's also some features that I intend to use in a little bit, and a little bit being in like a week, hopefully less. I'm finishing things up here, but it has, apparently I haven't really stress tested it, really great browser capability. Basically, like it has an MCP server that it hooks up to, but it's built into the, I don't know if it's actually an MCP, I'm sure it is, but it's built into the actual editor to like use a browser mode. You can watch it while it's developing, and essentially I've used it a little bit, and it's a pretty nice experience, and I'm kind of excited to see what it can do to the limit. And yeah, I will probably return to Claude Code definitely whenever, or Codex whenever they do another cycle of releases. I haven't found GPT 5.2 too like so impressive that I need to use Codex again. But I'll probably jump back to one of those hands-off editors once I'm in a place that I'm working on portions of code that I know are at the edge of the code base, that are like the application layer, the business logic, that are really surface to the user, that it's easy to test, from like the actual UI perspective, or like some other, like setting up an agent to test it, to be honest. But something core inside the code base, I think we still need to be in the loop, at least quite a bit. It depends on what you're building, to be honest. If you're building like a quick POC and you just want to get something working, it doesn't really matter at all. Yeah, that's all my thoughts for the day. Plans as far as this goes, I've reworked the entire agent pipeline using a more fully or pure agentic approach. I'm just finishing up fixing the unit test so that I can be confident as I create more features. But in doing this, I found a bunch of like super high leverage tasks I can work on. And as I was talking about yesterday, there's just a total mindset shift that like I just have to keep reminding myself that like just move all the way to the top of the stack. What's the highest leverage you can move at? How can you move yourself from the entire loop, and just hit all those levers? And each time it's like a step function in improvement, or like even as I was showing yesterday, the evals are just like hockey sticking, going up to the right, and that's because I went to it for a very high leverage move, rewriting that agentic loop, which might, in another world a year ago or 2 years ago, might have been a lot of work, but it was, just a couple hours, and the rest has just been testing it and writing test. So yeah, that's, after this is done, a couple of high leverage moves I can make, and I will talk about those when I actually start working on them. All right, looks like it's done, and I'm going to start reviewing the code and see if it got it all working. So I will see you guys tomorrow.